Are you living for Friday, waking up on Sunday, dreading Monday, and then from Monday to Friday, counting each and every moment until you can not be at that dream corporate job or business that you created? And you've gotten there and realized that despite the fact that you are walking the dream, and for every intents and purposes, anyone looking at you would think you are, however, you are waking up every single day wondering if this is all that there is. Does anybody feel that? If so, then hi, my name is Jen, founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. I'm a purpose coach and expert, and what I do is work with women just like you who have this kind of dream gig from the outside looking in. And even though they're really successful, they just don't even know what their purpose is anymore and feel so disconnected from that part of the journey. And what we do is we work together to get you clarity again. We get you clear on kind of like where you've been, where you're going, and how we're going to get you there. And sometimes that can be right where you are. And sometimes it means a lane change, which is exactly what it meant in my life. And we get you clear on how you're going to do that. And we reconnect that fire and that sense of purpose and success once again, right? Because we get to have both in our lives. And so what we're going to talk about today for my chat today is we're going to be chatting about thanks. And this is the entire month that we're in right now. We're going to be focusing in on gratitude and thanks. And so the first thing I'm going to do is redefine it for everybody, because you all know how I am. So we're going to redefine that. And then we're going to talk about how to make it an action. So I started in one space and I actually changed my mind, because this is how I roll. When I feel called to share something, then that's always what I'm going to step into. So first of all, let's redefine things. As a clinical social worker of over 20 years and a psychotherapist for that long, obviously, and 15,000 of hours or better of service in terms of sitting across the couch from someone, one of the things we talk about a lot in coaching is gratitude and thanks, but also another novel idea that I'm going to bring in today. So we're going to talk about that. So first of all, if we redefine thanks, this is how I'm defining it for the time that we're going to be doing this work together. It's the habit of action and acknowledging and naming kindness surrounding us. So that's kind of what that, if I redefine it and how I like to think about it, that's kind of my take on it and where we're going to throw our energy this month. So initially, the first video that I did, the first vlog this month, was actually on celebrating and making it a habit to celebrate, which I love. So I'm not going to skip that. I'm going to start there and we're going to get into my favorite part, okay? Because it's a little bit of a different take on it. So the first thing we want to do is know that celebrating is something that's so crucial, and why. Okay. So the reason we want to celebrate things in making a habit of it is that it amplifies, and I want you to use this language for yourself. When we celebrate something and so if we have gratitude, let's start there. If we have gratitude and we celebrate the gratitude, we're amplifying the energy and the vibration of that experience, right? And that goes out into the world in big ripples. It makes the ripples much more profound. So I really invite you into thinking about, why do I want to make it a habit? Because making it a habit to step in, one, and have gratitude. Gratitude is like medicine for so many emotions in our lives, so many thoughts. So if I'm really stuck and I'm feeling defeated, I'm feeling sad, so many things, comparison, when we begin to really develop a deep gratitude practice, what happens is it literally carries us a long way. And the energy and the vibration in it is just like a big deal. So that's really what we want to do, is amplify. And that's really what celebration is doing for us. So we want to think about it that way. Like, okay, I'm celebrating the goodness that I've got in my life. I'm going to celebrate my thanks. And I'm going to make a habit of it so that it isn't something that I have to, like, one time a year, I come back around and I'm like, oh, it's that time of year again. Better get my gratitude game on. We want to be doing it all the time, even if it's small steps, right? So this is a super important piece of truly a couple of things that we're going to get into more as the month progresses, but it's using a lens, which I talked about in my book. So if you haven't checked out my book, go get that off of Amazon. You can find its release, How to Start Letting Go of Expectation. And if you want to check out in that book, I talk about the lens. And so if you want to have a little bit deeper wisdom on what that looks like and how it works, that's going to be described there. And so what we want to do is we're going to talk about the lens we use to show up. So how we see it, which we're going to be getting to in the month. And we're going to be talking about naming kindness, right? So we want to get really good at picking out where we're seeing goodness and kindness in the world, right? We really want to bring attention to it. And so that's another layer of the work we'll kind of be getting into down the road. So that's coming. But for today, I changed this definition a little bit to include action. I was doing meditation and I realized that, hey, Jack, can you not do that? I just realized in a meditation one day the importance of action. So I'm going to lay a little bit of a story out for you, and so that you have kind of the groundwork. And then we're going to move into using this in the format that we're talking about today. So first of all, how I stumbled across this. When my daughter was younger, one of the things that we talked about quite a bit, and this is where the story kind of stems from, and not because Chloe always had to apologize, by the way. So this is just, but it's a great story. And if I asked her today, if I went to her and said, sorry is a blank, she would look at you and say action. Okay. So in my estimation, when we say something like, I'm sorry, okay, just as an example, we're going to springboard off this. When I say I'm sorry, what I'm actually doing is I'm creating a contract to behave in a way that says sorry. What does that look like? Sometimes it's the words we use. So it might look like accountability. That's an action. Yes. It might look like a straight up apology. So rather than excusing myself for whatever it is that I've done and made some foobar in your life, I don't excuse it. I just say, I'm sorry. This is what was happening for me. That's not an excuse. I just want you to be able to deliver a solid apology. Okay. So those are some things to think about in terms of actions for saying something like I'm sorry, and creating an action attached to it rather than it just being something that we think and feel. Does that make sense? So I want you to really imagine that what I think in my head or I think with my heart, if there's not an action attached to that, it can kind of lose its juice, right? So energy, if we're thinking all things energy, when I add an action, the energy is going up. The profound nature of it is increasing. The experience of it is much higher, right? So think about that for a minute in your mind's eye. It's like if somebody has ever apologized, has anyone ever apologized to you in your life for something big? I've had a few apologies in my life. And I've been really grateful for every single one of them. The action of someone taking time, even years later, to come back and go, I just want you to know, I recognize in that what was going on there. And I'm really sorry that I hurt you, that I said that I did that. I just want you to know, I see what I did. And if you've ever had this kind of apology in your life, you know the game-changing experience it feels like to you, right? The gratitude that you have for someone to step into that. I've had a couple of them, and I'm in my mind, I'm playing them out. And in like the most unexpected places and ways, right? And the gratitude that I have, because it felt like it healed it. Okay. It healed it differently than me imagining in my head. And so you're able to kind of release it differently. Because it's like, okay, that's been healed. That's been dealt with. Okay. So gratitude, we're going to tie it in here. Thankfulness is an action, right? So we don't want to just think it. I don't want to just feel it. I want to actually act on it. And so one of my favorite examples, and we talked about this story, and I won't go into it in big, long depth today because I've already told the story, but Drew Dudley did a TED Talk. It's Lollipop Moments or Lollipop Leadership. Either way, you'll find him right in YouTube. Brilliant TED Talk. And what he's talking about is random acts of kindness that actually change people's lives. And in his TED Talk, what he says is when he tells his story, and then he says, okay, and how many of you have had someone in a very quick moment change your entire life? And the hands go up, right? And how many of you told someone? And the hands don't go up as much, right? There's like 3 or 4 people in the room that raise their hands, right? And so this is where we're going with this idea that was a really profound notion to me. Just today, I got the gift of actually thanking someone and using this thanks idea in action. So for those of you that don't know, I was super blessed about a week and a half ago to have an Amazon bestseller. And I was just telling my friend who supported that entire journey, I thanked her again and again and again, by the way. But today, eye to eye on a call, I was able to look at her and say, you changed the entire trajectory of my life. I had a big ass book in the works. I still do. It would have taken me forever to print that thing and get it done. And her stepping into my life and giving guidance in the most beautiful and giving way and walking me through that experience lended itself to me becoming a best-selling author. And that's not light. That's not a small thing. Now, friends, it's not Lord of the Rings. I mean, this was my joke earlier, right? It's not like Lord of the Rings, okay? It's a 36-page book, but that doesn't matter because it was on my bucket list of my life. Do you have something on your bucket list? Do you get what I'm saying? That thing that it's always been gnawing at your heart. You've always wanted to do it and try it. That was me with writing a book. I knew. I'm like, I'm destined to have something written. That's for sure going down. I'm a reader. I'm an avid reader. I love books. Someday this is going to go down. This woman helped me achieve that. So here's how I take action. So this is right. Everyone's different. You don't have to do my style. And what I would love for you to do is I'm talking about this in the comments. Could you list for me different gratitude actions? Because I would love it. Some that you've had in your life that you've been gifted, that you've given. It doesn't matter. I would love for you to generate some ideas on how to actively say thank you. And I want us to be really clear about this. It can be a financial response. It can also be totally unrelated to money. So in this case, when I had this experience of having my book go to first in 3 categories, I sent this beautiful friend a bouquet of flowers to say thank you because she took my calls. She got on Zoom with me. She was helping me navigate some of these steps that were really challenging because I'd never done it in my life and helped me get there. And this is such a long story. And I can't even get there. I've got a purpose summit thing that's coming up. I'll talk about it more in that one, because I'm like, I could talk about this for hours. So mine was thanking her profusely, texting her, and telling her today it was the whites of the eyes again, reiterating it again for like the 3rd or 4th time that I said it. And I sent her flowers. So I hope to do big action for her to say thank you, because that's right. It's increasing the energy. And what we amplify and give out, my friends, we get in. So one of the most solid foundations I want you to always be thinking about is that which I give out, I get in. So if I'm giving out big action and gratitude and thanks, that is actually what's going to circle back for me. So every time I celebrate abundance in any form, right? In any form that it's going to take. It could be a friend helping you. It could be a friend helping you move. It could be a friend helping you mastermind something. It doesn't matter what it looks like, that at some point you want to take action. So it can look like a text, a call, an email, a card, a little gift. It doesn't have to be a gift of something you bought. It could be something that you made. It's literally endless, the possibilities to send something to somebody to make this step, to create it as an action. And does that make sense, right? I really want you to get your mind around, right? How can I actually create these things as actions? And you're going to hear me circle back to this because I think emotions and experiences and feelings we can create into action items. So much like I taught my daughter when she was little, is rather than doing something and then just saying sorry, because the words are easy, friends. I hate to say this, right? I mean, this was a lesson I wanted Chloe to hear in her life, that words are easy. Sometimes they're not easy for people. Like I get it. Somebody's out there is like, it's not easy for me to say I'm sorry. Okay, I get it. I fucking get it. Okay, but today, roll with me. It's often easy to give the words. But have you ever had an apology that went like this? Have you had one? Do you know what I'm talking about? I want to hear from someone. Have you had that apology that came out someone's face, but you were like, you're actually really not sorry? Have you had this experience, right? This is really pivotal, that when we're hearing from someone, there needs to be an action. So for some reason, the story is coming up for me. I'm going to tell it. So back in the day, this has been a long time. I worked in a team of people, and 2 of the people on the team did not get along. And one of them was a really great girlfriend of mine. And she would come into my office and she would be like, Jen, I cannot handle this anymore with this person. And I would look at her and I would say lovingly, have you talked to him? Well, no, not yet. Okay. So I held space for it. It was hard because I knew it was not what she wanted to hear. Have you talked to him yet? No. Okay. Well, that's number 1. Lovingly. Number 1 is an action. If you're having a problem with someone, right? So I'll circle back to things. Bear with me. This is a great, how do we do this? Okay. having the struggle, had the, I would say resentment, probably, right? There was some resentment for her and for him. They could not get along to save their lives. And so I would encourage her lovingly. Talking to me is great. I mean, I'll listen to you, I'll sit and I'll hold space for you. But the truth is, at the end of the day, unless you're going to take action, this is not going to change. One more time. If you're not going to take action, this is actually not going to change. So your job is to actually take action. So this friend lovingly, kudos to her, went and had a conversation. A little while later, comes back in my office. Shit's still not right. Go talk to him again. Here's the thing, friends. This is a therapy giveaway. One of these days, this will be a takeaway in one of my other books. We're going to have to do these actions over and over and over again. I hate to defeat you, but I always want you to be really realistic about how you show up to this stuff, because if you show up and think it's a linear thing, I'm going to do it once and I'm going to be good to go. Nope. I wish I had a beep buzzer. I need my sound effects. No, you're going to have to do it multiple times. So she came back, talked to me again, held space. Okay, love, I want you to go out. I want you to try this again. Okay, let's do it again. So I think it took them 3 conversations, much frustration, okay, resentment, and feeling blocked. And finally, the 3rd conversation, he says to her, and this is powerful, I just really realized that you remind me of my wife. You remind me of my wife. I'm getting triggered. And it wasn't that he didn't love his wife, but there was something about it that he was actually working out something else with my friend that actually didn't have shit to do with her. Right? What a profound moment that they had. And here's the neat thing, friends, right? This is the blessing. Those 2 people became super fucking good friends. I'm not even joking you. It took 3 conversations, not locking horns. We've all been there. I was like, you got to go talk to me. You got to go talk to me. I could see their faces and I love them both. And this was a profound breakthrough for them. And they actually became super good friends once that block got taken out, because they sat down and it was an action, right? There was an action. I need to work something out because I resent, I'm frustrated, we're locking horns. Just sitting in it, just talking about it wasn't going to solve a thing. We've all been there. Right? So it was such a cool celebration for them when I saw them break through this shit that was really holding them back. I was like, you don't need to be stuck there. Okay? Completely changed the face of their relationship and dynamic. The energy between them was just beautiful. How cool. And so this is really what I want us to grab onto, is that they were taking action in resolving this hurt, because that's really what it was. They looked angry, but they were both really hurt. They made it an action to go and resolve it. They didn't just sit in it. They didn't just think about it, because just thinking about it wasn't going to change an effing thing. Okay? And so this is where I want you to take this idea this month and forevermore. We're going to be talking about action forever, because now I'm on it. Now I've received the message. It was like, okay, I know we all need to think about it this way. So that's a great example of a time in a really tough relationship with somebody that we were like, how do I unravel this? And I can't think myself out of it. I can think differently. I can view that person differently. And what that does energetically is it allows me to show up differently, which is pretty cool, right? If I'm less ragey or frustrated, right? Less irritable with somebody. And I have a different lens, which I talked about in the book. And we're going to talk about that again this month. The lens I use is everything. It is very important. And so is action. We sort of forget in our culture. We talk a lot about thought changing. We talk a lot about, that's great. And that's power. It is. There's lots of great energy in that. There is nothing like action, though. So I have to think it. I have to unravel it. I've got to walk myself backwards to figure out what the heck it is that's kind of hanging around me. And then I move forward with action. So I change the thoughts. I change the energy. I change the emotions. And then I go do a thing about it. Their thing they did was communicate. The thing they did was vulnerability. The thing they did was authenticity and transparency. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? What they did was put the thoughts into action by applying some of these skills and tools in a toolbox that we all need to have a different result. They were going to circle the drain. If they did not do that journey together, they were going to circle the drain. They were never going to like each other. And what a tragedy that they would have missed out on the super fucking cool connection they built with each other. Like, I'm not even joking you. They were the cutest. That was the neatest thing to me, to see and witness them unravel that piece to come to a beautiful place together. So as we give thanks, first of all, in the comments, how can we give thanks as an action? How have you done it? How have you received it? Mine has come in the format of cards. I have gotten private Facebook messages from people. People when we're having conversations in meditation and insight timer. I can just say that I feel very blessed, you know, with little gifts around the holidays from clients, like, you know, nothing expensive, but like, here we were baking and I wanted to bring you this banana bread and some cookies for your holiday. Like, I cannot tell you the sweetness around something. An action is giving is an action item. And so I really want you to think about that. It can be giving the words. It can be giving a card. It could be giving a box of little goodies. It can look like a million things, but think about what it feels like to be on the receiving end of that. What is it like for you? Somebody write in the comment, I see you up in there on Instagram. My friend, Sassy, I see you up in Angelica. I see you up in there. So what does it feel like to be on the receiving end of gratitude? What is it like? What does it feel like to gift gratitude to someone? I have been ridiculously blessed with people on my business journey. like I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards, right? I need my big paper. Right, I pull out it would more look like one of those accounting rolls of paper. And I would just stand up there with my thing in my hand and I would pontificate about the beauty that I've been given in my life. I have more people that have shown up in ways that I could not have even thought to ask for, that have built the foundation that I'm growing on. We don't get where we're going on our own. Let me be super clear. I'm going to say it one more time. We do not get where we're going in this lifetime on our own. So it is built on the foundation of love and support of other people who are holding space for us. I have friends who have given me reduced rates on video, photos, a friend who donated her time to help me write a book. A friend who helped make sure I got to an event that was going to be crucial to my journey. I wouldn't have even known to ask. And so showing up in action by loving someone and thanking them and taking action, it's so important. So one, what actions, and I really want you to think, if you're listening to me today, I want you to post in the comments, what are actionable forms of gratitude and thanks? Okay. It sounds like an old school thing, writing notes. I still freaking love a handwritten card. I'm just being real. I freaking love a thank you card. It's so beautiful. Because we lose touch with those old school things. You know, I'm such a fan. Thank you to the whites of the eyes, whether it's a Zoom or in person, a cup of coffee or tea. I don't care what it is, a thank you meal, something that comes from the heart, that shit's gold. Do not lose sight of those old school things because we just think that shit's old and it doesn't matter. It does. Okay, Angelica said it's such a wonderful feeling that I could make a difference for someone. And when I've given gratitude, it seems to make others feel appreciated, which is a huge thing. Exactly. Thank you for answering. Exactly. So what you just said is exactly what I was trying to say earlier. Angelica, it amplified everything, didn't it? Celebrating someone's goodness in our lives amplifies it. It makes it bigger. It makes it feel more real. It brings it right into the feels. And it changes how we experience it. I mean, I'm telling you, I have received cards and notes from clients that have made me weep. I kept them. I have spaces where I keep notes like that because they're my reminders. When I'm feeling low, when I'm like, why am I fucking doing this? And does your shit matter to anyone? Okay, because we all have days like that. I will pull that out. I'll go, oh, that's right. That's my box of goodness. Those are the box of the gifts. This is the box of the gratitude. That was someone taking action. I have not forgotten it. I have held on to it because I know I'll need it again. Their gratitude amplifies my sense of having done something, of having created a difference somewhere in the world. Even if it was one person for 2 minutes, we need to know what we're doing makes a freaking difference. And this is the way that we do it for each other. The other day, went into the store, went into UPS. I've got like 5 minutes. I mean, let's be right. Okay. Do you feel me? I'm squeezing it in between something else and something else. Like, hopefully I can get this task done and then I can go right to the post office, right? Walk in. A complicated person with their situation is a complicated situation. 2 people up and I'm like, dear Jesus, I'm going to have to leave. But as I'm walking in the door, this other woman's right by me. She holds the door. So I go in and I gesture her, you can go ahead of me. Cause she was nice. She beat me to the door, right? She goes, it's okay. I've got something she was doing. Thanks. No, did I? Oh my God. Right. No, I mean, cause weird, right? I don't know her from a home wall. We're at UPS. But I did say thank you. She spared me. Had she gone in front of me, I wouldn't have been able to get it done without having to leave. I'd have had to come back again. Right? Thankful. Action. The words are action, a card, a note, a text. But can I tell you where the money is? I'm going to tell you where the money is. So all those things are very important. Like I said, vital. I've saved cards. I have them. They're my sweetness. They like literally hit my right in the heart. And literally when I tell you a conversation with someone is a total game changer. Today, I got to see that same friend that helped me write that book, helped me get the behind the scenes wisdom to blah, blah, blah. I literally in the eyes today. She doesn't look close enough. I can't be in person. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. When friends have referred clients to me, thank you. Thank you. How can I support you? Thank you. So I really want you to walk into this whole month of November with this idea about making it a habit to be in a space of thanks, to be looking for kindness, to acknowledge it, to make it an action. Not to just see it, that's great. Not to just feel it, that's also great. But look at the trifecta. I see it, I feel it, I do it. I see it, I feel it, I do it. We're going to come back and circle around this down the road in a couple of weeks, okay? The habit of action and acknowledging and naming the kindness surrounding us. That's what thanks stands for this month. And I cannot emphasize enough this idea of action. And again, what I really invite you to do is in the comments, what are forms of action in thanks? Other than the ones I've named, you can always reiterate them. That's great. But I invite you to offer up different ones. Okay, because then we're generating ideas because everyone coming in is going to like, what's a good idea and how I can do this, Jen? So I gave you some of my faves, right? Because I think they're powerful. And I want you to be clear, they're not always money. Sometimes it's how we show up. Sometimes it's that we do something else that we can do, right? So I know in meditation, sometimes people can't donate for Insight Timer. That's not in their wheelhouse. So they'll show up and hold space. Sassy does that. And it's not always because she can't, but I mean, I'm just going to say, I also know she holds space out of the kindness for her. But sometimes there are people that have said, I can't afford to donate, but this is how I show up. That's beautiful too. So that's giving thanks. So to me, I want you to look at the circular nature of that. It's like, hey, if I can't always do it just the way I'd want for a million reasons, maybe it's just something small you got going on. Maybe it's just whatever resources you got or don't got. All of us have that. And then we dole out gratitude and action in other ways. It looks different for every single one of us. And so that's really what I want is get out of the realm of I am blessed enough that I could send my friend flowers. She was on call for a week and a half. I mean, she didn't have to do that. So that's what I enjoy, but I'm a gifter. Okay. Like I like gifts. Like that's one of my like love languages. So like, I love to send out gifts and little things. Right. So this is one of the ways I like to do it. When I can do it, I do that. I'm grateful for my high school. They just had Giving Day yesterday. I donated money for that. That's a blessing. One of my goals, and putting it out loud right into the universe, is I want to create a scholarship for a student every single year at that school. I was on the receiving end. So it is my goal to gift that back to another kid who needs it because it saved my life. So if I can do that, that's my goal. That's my action. I am going to work on it. Yesterday was a small drop in the bucket of what I actually hope to be able to donate. Make sense? That's how I'm showing my gratitude now that I can do it that way. Could I do it other ways? Yeah. I can help them fundraise. I can tell my story, because if I tell my story and someone has a connection to it, they go, oh, so because you were gifted this in your life, I can make the connection of how impactful that is, what a legacy that is. And then I can go out and I can do it. Does that make sense? This is how we do gratitude and thanks as an action. So I really want you to glom onto, it doesn't have to look like one thing. It doesn't have to look like money. It can look like energetically how we show up, holding space. It can look like supportive measures on the backside of things. It looks like so many things. So don't get stuck. And that's where getting creative in the comments, I think, is so crucial. It's like, lay it in there. How do you hold space? How do you hold gratitude? How are you committing to action around the idea of things? Okay. All right. That was what I wanted to leave here and drop in here like big mic drop, because I really want us to be thinking outside the box. Instead of just talking about things in this really linear way, I want us to begin to see the concept of things having action associated with them. That it's actually in the doing of the thing that we amplify it and make it bigger. That the energy of it grows. And greatness, good things, good emotions, good experiences, we want to amplify them. That's really what this is about. So, I could say action in acknowledging and amplification. If I took that A in the word thanks, I could build that sucker out and have it 16 words long, because that's really what I want you to get at. I really want you to get at this. And then it's that, again, that energy of celebrating what we have amplifies it. It not only sends it out in the world, it brings it back into us. And that's not why we do it. The intention isn't to do it to get it, receive it, but that is what happens. So, just those reminders as we start the month off. We're going to be in, and the only week I will not be in is I will not be in on Thanksgiving Day. So I do want to note that day I'll be taking off, and I'll have a little note to everyone that we won't be in live that day, because I will be celebrating and taking time for my families. But I wanted to drop this in here because what I really want to do is I want to mic drop you right at the beginning of the month to set the tone for how you're going to do it, to inspire and motivate you to begin in this month, not just right. And I love this, right? People are already getting in. I've seen it. They're doing their gratitude little everyday challenge. I love that, because the awareness is where we begin it, right? Beautiful. So I read someone's post today. She was talking about gratitude for her friends. It was a beautiful post. And now what I would say to her is, today, can you send out 3 texts? That's what I would say to her. Today, can you do 3 texts, 3 notes, an email? I don't care. Could you see the whites of someone's eyes? Maybe not. It's COVID. We're in weird state. I get it. Okay, cool. Totally fine. FaceTime. Can you send 3 texts telling someone specifically something about how they change your life for the better? You are loyal. You are so kind. You are so funny. You're my friend, no matter what it is, no matter what harebrained ass idea I get, you're in every time. You will change someone's day. And then you change the trajectory of that energy, and it amplifies. So that's what I would say. Any thought and emotion you have this month about gratitude and thankfulness, I want you to shoot that out in loving form, in whatever way works for you, to the people. Because just thinking it and feeling it doesn't send it. It's exactly what Drew Dudley was getting at in his TED Talk. That's beautiful that your life was changed. The young woman's life that he changed came back and told him years later, the person she was introduced to that day in that random act of kindness became her husband. He unknowingly went in and altered the entire trajectory of her life and her husband's life. One, she stayed at school, which she wasn't prepared to do. Two, she met her partner. They invited him to their wedding. That's what I'm getting at. She went out of her way to go back and find him and say, you changed my life. So rather than just the thought, rather than just the feeling, it's the seeing, the feeling, the doing, the seeing, the feeling, the doing. So all month long, right? Do you feel me? Are we getting this energy? The seeing, the feeling, the doing. I want that energy to be flowing right through you. Whatever greatness comes in, I want you to then let that pass right through you out in some form of action and kindness for somebody else. Is there something you can do to make their lives easier? Could you cook a meal? Could you, right? Oh my God, friends, there's literally a million ways we can do this, right? Cook a meal. I mean, cook a meal, send a note, right? You feel me? If we generate ideas and drop those in the comments, then people that are reading this get the other ideas. Let's make that we know there's lots of ways to show up in gratitude. Okay. All right. Just want to leave that there. So here is what I want to invite you to do. I want to invite you to go over and check out my website. If you haven't, there's tons of tips and tricks and tools there for purposeful living. Every single thing that I teach is about purposeful living. Everything. I talk a lot about self-care. We've got a self-care summit coming up. It's going to be amazing. The women that are doing this are literally fire. They are so powerful. And I said today, they're my sheroes. I made this really funny handout. They're probably all gonna want to kill me. It was literally the handout, but everybody's got superhero masks. I'm making it with glee written on my face. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cute. Bridget looks adorable, or whoever, like, you know, I'm like, and I wrote it like they were superheroes, and there was like boom and pow, right? That's joy. Because that's how I show up. I'm like, you know, I can do like, oh, love learning. I know. I'm sorry. Learning should be active. Learning should be a whole body, whole like journey experience. Like, right. So to me, it was like, let's shake this shit up. I know we have this really formal, nice flyer I can send out to everyone to look at. Like, oh, look at how lovely and professional they are. Oh no. I'm like, let's have fun. So I made us all superheroes. So that's on Facebook. If you want to go check that shit out, it's kind of funny, honestly. Like I said, they might all want to kill me because they're beautiful and they covered up part of their faces with masks. But it was just my version, all right, of letting everybody know every single one of those women is going to come in with their distinct fire. Starting next Tuesday, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the following week. It's free coaching content on self-care. It is a game-changing experience for you to come in. I'm on the last day. There might not be nobody standing. I was saying to my friends, I go, I might have drawn the short straw, but mine is at the end because it made sense there, right? So every single day is going to build on itself for 6 days. These women are donating their time and energy, their financial resources, because they believe so deeply in every woman that's showing up to teach and what we're teaching that we are on fire about offering that to all of you. Truly, all we need is a freaking email so we can send you the link. Okay. It's free. So I just want to encourage you guys, one, on my website, hosts all the vlogs, all the things, blah, 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 laughinglotuswellness.com. Okay. Great. And I really want to encourage you to sign up for that summit. And I'm teaching the last night. It's the 18th, but I'm not just going to talk about what I do. Because if I just want to talk about what I do, that's called a masterclass, right? I already did one. There'll be more. I want to talk about the other women that are each of them singularly, when I say this, brilliant women. It's why that's in the name. They believe in what they do. They are high in integrity and they are so smart. And they're going to be bringing each one of them their little magic magic little thing, their hocus pocus, their certain kind of fire and energy. They're going to be bringing that. And I hope that you'll take advantage of that experience because it's going to be so amazing. And I would tell you, truly, you don't want to miss a single one of them. You just don't want to miss a single one of them. So that's what I want to say for today. I invite you into that. That's coming up next week and the week after. It's 2 weeks. Like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time each night. There will be a replay that will go out to the email list if you have to miss it. Because we know life happens. You might not be able to make it every night, but you might not want to miss it. You don't. That's it. You don't. Don't miss this. It's going to be an incredible, almost week of content that I know is going to be mic dropping. So I'm just telling you. There's something universal about these women coming together. It's not an accident. It's really cool. I wanted to have a summit. I've never been invited. I made my own. That's how I roll. That shit doesn't exist. I haven't been invited yet. That's fine. I'll make my own. And so that's what we're doing. And so I hope that you will take us up on that offer and come join us for those 6 nights, because I think you are going to walk away with some really incredible information. And we want to, hold space. Why? Because self-care is the building block of purpose. If I don't take care of myself, there's slim pickings for living into my journey. I don't have the energy and the juice that I need to keep going. When we are taking self-care and we're in community with brilliant people that hold space for us, that boosts us. That's like a super boost. That's what these women are. They are making space for themselves. They have made space for me, and they are making space for you. That's why we're doing this. That's good community, and it's great energy. So something that you might need to know might be offered in one of those 6 nights. Actually, something I know you need to know is going to show up in those 6 nights. And on the last night, because I'm talking about purpose, right? Bringing in the purpose fire. And we have to have self-care as the foundation to live into our purpose. So every single thing I talk about, how to give thanks, how to harvest things, right? How to release things, an entire book, 36 pages, the short shit it is, 36 pages on how to let go. They are all the skills and tools that you will use to live most fully into your path to purpose, guaranteed. There isn't one thing I'm teaching that somehow is not a building block for that. Okay. Okay. So I hope to see you next week in that summit. I will be live again next Thursday. Yes, I will be. I'm trying to think of what I've got going on, because I do believe I have a guest coming in this month. And so we'll be talking about that later. But right now, 1, you can go to the website if you want to, but 2, I want you to really get clear that that summit is for you and about you. And these incredible, beautiful women that I am privileged to know and share space with are going to knock your socks off. So I hope you'll come join us for that. All right. Loves of my life. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, in the box, please, 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 your ideas on giving thanks as an action. How have you done it? How have you received it? Please drop that in the comments so that we can generate lots of ideas for everybody that's joining us, because that's money. That's power. Okay. All right, friends, until next time, this is Jen, supporting you in your path to purpose, sending love and light to each of you. So much gratitude and thanks for being here, for sharing space, for subscribing, for following along, and for believing in anything that I'm offering, right? And helping me share this message of my platform of hope and inspiration to living into your purpose. I am deeply grateful. So thank you so much for being here. I truly and honestly appreciate that. So, all right, friends, love and light to all of you guys. Until next time, this is Jen supporting you on your path to purpose.